please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic?
I recently watched a video by In Praise of Shadows, an individual who has been thusly dubbed a bread tuber, which explains why I have up until this point never heard of them. They made a video talking about another YouTuber called Wendigoon, and yes, you've guessed it, I don't know who they are either. But when I watched the video, I kinda cringed. I cringed at the green screen, the changing of size of In Praise of Shadows, the voice used because it sounded put on. You know how some people have announcer's voice? That. Others just speak. Others enunciate a little differently. To me, In Praise of Shadows sounds a lot like Mama Max when they're trying to sound like Billy the Puppet from Saw. Put on, a bit pointless, patronising to no end. And because undoubtedly reading from a script, the delivery is a bit wooden. In their video dunking on Wendigoon, they got a lot of blowback. They got blowback because they repeatedly misrepresented Wendigoon, they outright lied about Wendigoon, and they've been on the defense ever since. They called out a number of other YouTubers, which was another mistake. And I get it. You want to grow your audience, you want to be seen doing what could be considered the popular thing. Perhaps calling out Shoeonhead, Turkey Tom, Muta, framing Wendigoon as being far right and saying that they are also far right. Just to be clear here, I don't care what your political affiliation is. I really don't. Using it to make a point about the person you're criticising makes it seem a bit weak when you then insert other commentary channels who have quite sizable followings to drive home that point, which doesn't resonate as well with, well, everyone. Something which you yourself have to later concede. I could do a response video to In Praise of Shadows video, but I don't want to, because then I'd have to go and look a bit more into Wendigoon, and also because Shoeonhead, Turkey Tom, Willie Mac, Muta, others have done videos on that. No, I want to go through the blowback, the fallout, because that part tickled me. I will link relevant videos down below that you should go and watch. And we should go into this with the following in our minds. In Praise of Shadows, you done goofed. Congratulations. Although you did remind me that Parler existed as a platform. I never really got on to Parler. I gave up with a lot of alternative platforms because I couldn't grow on them to save my life. Now, one of the very first things that happened as a direct impact fallout of what had happened was that In Praise of Shadows protected their Twitter account. Well done you. You've really put it to them. You've ensured your safety for generations. They've also gone onto their YouTube channel and they have removed the video in question, but the video itself has in fact been re-uploaded onto many other channels. All 35 minutes of it. The hit piece, as it were. Their most recent video on their channel is called The Most Dangerous Movies, and the majority of the comments are telling them just to delete their channel. Since a lot of their content on that channel centers around movie conversations, I'm impressed they go for Wendigoon. It seemed like a bit of a stretch, so I don't quite understand where the move came from or what made them or inspired them to go after Wendigoon at all. Other consequences of interest come in the form of community posts that have been deleted, Discord messages, and that's where I want to go instead. I do want to insert one clip though from Boblax because I think it's quite funny concerning the, well, you can't be pro-trans and support Christian.
People are saying things like, Wendigoon says trans rights, while meanwhile he's simultaneously tweeting about Christian multiple times.
He can't be pro-trans because he tweets about Christian. You can be pro-trans and anti-mom rape!
The community posts though what really interest me, and they were collected by Chris the Narc. About the video. Hey everyone, these are from Patreon by the way. Sorry for not saying anything sooner, I wanted to take a few days to clear my head and genuinely listen to the conversation going on around this video before I addressed it. Flat out, I let my emotions get the best of me here. This wasn't my best work, and this wasn't my best self. This was made out of anger, and I should never lower myself to do that. And before I say anything, I should say sorry to you for engaging myself this way. I will not be taking another project like this again. You know me as being a media analysis channel, and that is what I should be. I should promote love in horror through providing a positive example. Well, that explains the video, I guess, right? Is there sarcasm sign required for that? You say that your emotions get the better of you. I watched that video. There was no emotion in it. Your delivery was stale. It's worse than mine. And I'm not even on camera. You say that you're sorry to the audience, the patrons, for engaging, you know, in this way. The thing is, you'd have had to have sat there, done the research, and made this choice quite a while ago. So reality is, I think you've been wanting this for some time. I thought that I was doing good here, and I think to an extent I did some good. That's debatable. But I could have gone about it differently. Yes, by not making the video. This was not perfect and needed more time in the oven. Pure and simple. And that was totally on me. The past few years have been a very dark time for me. The slow and gradual decline algorithmically following The Hills Have Eyes had built a genuine sadness that has followed me a lot. The realities of the situation meant that I had to make a new video every month or so, and under those circumstances, there would be times where I would not be satisfied with my work, but still had to publish a video because I'd be broke if I didn't. And after my confrontation with Wendigoon's fans late last year calling me that word so many times, I see where the anger comes from then, because words will always hurt me, not sticks and stones. I built up such an anger at how I had been treated that I decided I wanted to do a video about my personal situation mixed with the deep growing conservative nature within certain sections of horror. I thought this was a good idea. I thought it would promote a conversation that needed to be had. I thought and still think that his level of social power is dangerous, but my video should have probably just focused on the sections related to The Hills Have Eyes, and I do see that now. Okay, so there are a few points in here to address. You have a bias built up from an audience going in on you. That's what you have. And because of something called The Hills Have Eyes. This tells me you're going into it unnecessarily aggressive. Not that it manifested in the video at all, you just made erroneous and quite frankly defamatory claims. The deep growing conservative nature and the need for a discussion. That is an argument from somebody, a position from someone who believes that that means inherently it is wrong. Therefore it must be quashed in some manner through what is typically called discussion but is actually just shouting at the other person until they listen or acquiesce. His level, Wendigoon's social media power, make your over 9,000 joke here, is irrelevant. We all have a form of influence on social media to some kind and extent. I personally have it when I post pictures of animals. Otherwise I don't generally have much in the way of pull. You have one at antagonizing people pointlessly, apparently. Congratulations. On the sections related to Wendigoon's cultural appropriation, I think in particular I could have done better. I know that it is a very tricky thing to talk about topics of gender, women, race, and the history of these concepts as a white dude on the internet, and I always try to do my best there in my work and life. I dropped the ball here in some of my language and logic, and criticism of me on this point is 100% fair. I'm gonna insert, I don't care about cultural appropriation in the slightest. I've always preferred appreciation, but you know what? I saw at the early part of your video you were going in on him about having a Hawaiian shirt on, so you were already being petty from the offset. I really hope that you can see that I thought that it was important to talk about, and that I thought I was doing good, which is always my goal. I'm sorry to you again, and I did not represent myself with the professionalism and standards that I normally hold myself to as a person, and that you deserve as my audience. I will be around for you to ask any questions, or to give me any feedback you would like to provide. Thank you, blah blah blah, Zane. Underneath, he put out a community note post saying he was receiving harassment. One last quick note. I have already publicly addressed this on Twitter and Patreon, but I thought I'd do one community note before I left. I have decided it is best at the moment to take down the entire bad conservative horror movie video thing. It did not represent me and who I wish to be as a personal creator. I admit I messed up pretty badly in my delivery and made a lot of mistakes, and I'm really sorry for that. The problem you've got with the audience you have and your social media influence and power is not only did you make a whole slew of erroneous claims, which you stand by to an extent anyway, you did so with the power you have knowing that it would poison the well or risk poisoning the well. You went into it in bad faith. The second image, we're going to go to the penultimate paragraph here. At the same time, I do not believe the harassment I have received these past few days has been called for based on what I have done. What is or is not typically dubbed harassment is nebulous. If you get criticism all over social media, you're going to get criticism all over social media. Is it harassment? That depends on how quick your feelings are hurt, which you've already proven your feelings are clearly more important than the facts. And by the way, you went on to delete this post. It was not well received and you almost got ratioed in the comments because of it. Now another area of interest is Discord, because Zane, or In Praise of Shadows, has been active there. Real talk. Do y'all think I come back from this? Pretty sad tonight, to be fully honest. If I just start back with my normal kind of work, do you all think things will be fine in the long run? If you're asking your audience this, chances are you already know the answer. Yeah, I knew this was going to get rough, but it's harder than I anticipated. The rest of the year is supposed to be a lot of fun. I've even cancelled 2 videos in the schedule to replace them with more on-brand ideas. I just couldn't live with myself if I prevented my partner from having a good life because of my decisions. That's what has been on my mind the most here. I just hope that when I come back, things will be well received. I've decided to leave Twitter completely. A lot of YouTubers have, and I made the mistake of staying there when they took their exit. He also had a comment for those who have refuted the points, saying nobody in the video has actually refuted any of what I said. Lol. They only point out small individual things that are wrong, but don't actually go so far as to say that what I said wasn't right. They don't have to outright state it if they debunked it. You're just being pedantic at this point. As far as I'm concerned, there's a level of cope involved in this, and I find it quite amusing that In Praise of Shadows, or Zane, has gone out of their way to make a load of claims, delete the video forgetting the internet is forever, going into it in bad faith, acting in bad faith, gaslighting Wendigo, and then trying to say that anyone that's refuted hasn't refuted, whilst also wondering if it's even possible to come back from this. It is possible to come back from this, but you've got to stick to your corner of the internet and build in your corner of the internet and act less like a bread tuber. I care less about people's politics when watching their videos. I care that they put on or put out content that resonates with their audience. You make essay-style videos on movies. Why not stick to your strengths regardless of your decline? And if it's really bothering you that much that you have to make videos, oh woe be me, get a fecking job. Because if you want to keep your job online, you have to have a steady income elsewhere. Or put your content on alternative platforms and grow it there as well. Others do it. It's not overly complicated. Failing that, get good, scrub.